Hello. Welcome to History Pie, where we talk about people, inventions, and events that happened on this day in history. September 20th. It's National Pepperoni Pizza Day. Time to order pizza. And if you live near Burleson, Texas, you can order the world's largest, commercially available pizza. Bring your appetite and your friends for this 8-foot-long, 32-inch wide pizza. Born in 1822, Red Cloud was a war chief of the Oglala Sioux clan. He was a courageous leader who led his tribe in what was known as Red Cloud's War against the U.S. Army. He was the first and also the last American Indian in the West to win a war against the U.S. Red Cloud's clan lived peacefully with the white settlers until the discovery of gold near the tribe's land in the 1860s. When the U.S. Army started building forts across the Lakota hunting grounds, Red Cloud, along with other tribal chiefs, began a war against the U.S. soldiers. This war forced the U.S. government to abandon many forts. By 1868, the U.S. government invited Red Cloud and other chiefs to discuss ending the conflict. The chiefs from the Lakota, Northern Cheyenne, and Arapaho tribes agreed to sign the Treaty of Fort Laramie. After the treaty was signed, the U.S. agreed to withdraw from the Lakota territory. Red Cloud spent the 1870s and 1880s mediating peaceful relations between the Sioux and the U.S. Red Cloud was by now against war. He visited Washington several times to lobby for his people and help better their lives. After retiring as a tribal chief, Red Cloud lived on the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota. He died in 1909 at the age of 87. On September 20, 1893, brothers Charles and Frank Duryea successfully tested America's first gasoline-powered car. Prior to this, the brothers had made a living building bicycles. In the 1890s, they began experimenting with motors. After purchasing a horse-drawn buggy, they worked to convert it to a gasoline-powered automobile. The brothers took their car for its first test drive in 1893. 2 years later, Frank drove one of their cars in the first known automobile race in America. The 54-mile race took place on Thanksgiving Day. Only 2 cars finished and Frank won. His racing speed averaged 7.5 miles per hour. The prize money inspired the brothers to produce more cars. They had sold 13 cars by the end of 1896. 1519, Magellan sailed from Spain to find a western sea route to the Spice Islands of Indonesia. Magellan set sail with 5 ships and 270 men. He sailed across the Atlantic Ocean to South America, where he searched the coast for a strait that would take him to the Pacific. On October 21, he discovered the Strait of Magellan, located near the tip of South America. Only 3 ships remained to enter the passage. It took 38 days to navigate the dangerous strait. When the ships arrived at the Pacific Ocean, Magellan wept with joy. He was the first European explorer to reach the Pacific Ocean from the Atlantic. On March 16, 1521, the expedition stopped at an island only about 400 miles from the Spice Islands. Magellan was persuaded by the island chief to fight with a neighboring rival tribe. During the fighting on April 27, Magellan was hit by a poisoned arrow and died. After Magellan's death, the survivors sailed on to the Spice Islands and loaded the remaining 2 ships with spices. 1 ship unsuccessfully attempted to return across the Pacific. The other ship, the Victoria, continued west under the command of Juan Sebastian de Elcano. The ship sailed across the Indian Ocean, around the Cape of Good Hope, and arrived at a Spanish port on September 6, 1522. It became the first ship to circumnavigate the globe. During the long journey, the people on the ship suffered many hardships. Only the ship Captain Elcano and 21 other passengers survived to reach Spain. Star-Spangled Banner was first published on this day in 1814. The song was written as a poem on September 14, 1814 by Francis Scott Key. The poem was originally titled The Defense of Fort McHenry. Key had been inspired to write the poem after seeing a lone U.S. flag flying over Fort McHenry at daybreak. The flag had remained flying throughout a battle during the War of 1812. The poem was printed in newspapers and eventually set to the music of a popular English drinking tune by composer John Stafford Smith. Soon people began referring to the song as the Star-Spangled Banner. In 1916, President Woodrow Wilson announced that it should be played at all official events. It was adopted as the national anthem on March 3, 1931. And that's today's Slice of History Pie. Join in next time to learn more about people, inventions, and events in history.